Come and get you some of this. Black girl magic. Giving you everything I got. Anything you ever need. You know I got it, babe. You'll never find another woman like me. But the moment they made me go, I'll make your life so sweet and so much better. Solemn promise. You may not understand the power that is me. Just take my hand and we'll go with the flow. Nothing. I'll be your everything, man.
Views expressed on shows are those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its management, or other advertisers. Use of these shows and all services provided therein are for personal use only. The Elevations Radio Network holds no responsibility for the validity or accuracy of information on these shows.
Hey fam, welcome to the Let's Be Real show with Greg Bam Reeves here on elevationsradio.com. I am your host, Greg Bam Reeves, along with the lovely masseuse extraordinaire, Bonita Rockman.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey. So this is our last show for 2017. I want to ask you a question real quick. Are you one of those people that, like, near the end of the year, you look back on your year and...
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
So, how was your year?
You know, honestly, I've had an amazing year, and it's crazy. I was just talking about that on my way here. I have learned a lot this year. Being an entrepreneur, as I was stating earlier, is so challenging, but the rewards are so much greater. But yeah, that's what I've been reflecting on my business, where I want to go in 2018, all the lessons that I've learned trying to keep a business and stay marketable in my business. And then just life, people. It's a lot of lessons that I've learned this year.
You know, I really don't anymore. I used to a lot.
You don't reflect?
Not really. I will if I'm asked. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're having this conversation right now.
Really?
Now I'm reflecting on it. I'm one of those, I do look forward, like I'm setting my goals for next year.
Right.
I don't really look back. Certain goals I know I'm not going to achieve, but I set them anyway and strive for them, make steps toward them. Mm-hmm. Like if right now, today, I would say my goal is to have $1 million business in 2018. Mm-hmm. Not to say it can happen. Right. But, you know, it hasn't happened yet.
So my thing is, I tell somebody, if they don't reflect, then it's like, how can you say, okay, this is what I want to do different to make that dream come through, you know, come to fruition? That to me is what the reflecting is for me.
And for me, it's because I reflect every day.
And that's
so I don't have that day at the end of the year or those days where I'm looking back. I'm reflecting on yesterday. Today.
Now, I would say that I reflect every day, but I also reflect as we get towards the end of the year. It's like, wow. Just I reflect over the year. It's just someone else just gave me an idea. They have like a blessing jar. It's a jar where every day they put in something that they were blessed. Yeah. How they were blessed that day. And at the end of the year, they go through that just as a reminder. And to me, that's a reflection of the year.
Yeah. I used to be one of those people that hold on too tightly to the negative. Mm-hmm. Like if you sat here and gave me compliments for 5 minutes and gave me one negative,
we're gonna focus on that.
I'm going to focus on that. So that's what stopped me from reflecting the whole year, as more so like day by day. Okay. And I've had a interesting year. I've grown a lot. I think mentally and emotionally.
That's reflected.
I haven't
on
had
you.
the greatest financial year. Yeah, I'm reflecting now for the show.
You do reflect.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm reflecting for the purpose of this conversation. But yeah, I'm gonna tell you what's funny. I started judging this year on last year.
Okay.
As soon as that dude got in office, I let the negativity in, like, oh, this is gonna be a bad year. But it wasn't. It wasn't
No.
a bad year. Except for him.
Yeah.
And a couple of other little things. But no, I've enjoyed 2017, but I'm really, really, really looking forward to 2018.
And I tell people, I say, I'm one of those, I look forward to the next day, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
But with that being said, though, I don't know why, I guess 2018, because it's the year that I know it's going to be more leaps of faith that I'm going to take going into my business. So that's for me why 2018 is going to be pretty dope.
And I
that's it.
had to throw that in there, didn't you? Dope.
No, but yeah.
And I'm also, I'm really into numbers.
Okay.
People that know me get tired of hearing me say this, but the number 9 is like really special to me. For one, it's the only number that multiples of 9, if you add them together, equal 9. Like I was born in 63, which is a 9 on the 18th. 9 September 9, raised on 189th 9. Add my social security number up 9. Anyway,
No,
you
it's
get the point.
interesting. Okay.
And before, it felt like I always had bad luck on even number years. I'm like, maybe because 9 is an odd number, and but lately I've been having good even number years. So I don't know. I'm really into numbers. Don't know why.
No, because
I used to
numbers
be
that
great
have
at math.
meanings. I have a book on numbers, so
Really?
numbers have meaning. So
Yeah.
no, I understand that.
It's funny
I'm a
too. When I
numbers-
was a kid, they used to sell these little horoscopes for like a penny
Okay.
at the candy store, and they'll have your lucky numbers on there. Mine was always 3, 6, and 9 every single time.
Hey, my birthday's the 19th. 9.
There you go.
See?
So I got to give a shout out to my peeps in Alabama. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
To the ladies.
Yes,
if I may
ladies.
shout out.
Ladies, too.
To the ladies.
But,
to the ladies.
I was a little nervous. Not gonna lie. My daughter asked me, "Why did I care?" The other day we were talking on the phone. I was like, "There's so many implications to this guy.
It's huge.
To that Senate seat
Right.
for all of us. It's not just about Alabama. It's about this country as a whole. And our people turned up and turned out.
They did. They did.
I mean,
they did.
that was really cool to see. I mean,
did.
I don't think people really understand the uphill battle Doug Jones had. And I was begging and pleading on my Facebook page, and I was begging and pleading, like, please go vote. If you know somebody need a ride, go pick them up.
Pick them up.
You know what I'm saying? And yes, I got to give credit to the white folks in Alabama that voted for Doug Jones, because our 28% wouldn't have been enough. But 92% of the black men, 98%
8% of women.
of black women.
Yes.
Do your thing, ma. Do your thing.
As they say, we are still underestimated, and we still do not yet get the credit that we deserve, but we're working. We're slowly getting there, though. We're getting there.
That led me to something else I wanted. This is my personal plea to brothers. And when I say brothers, I do mean all. Black, red, white, yellow, brown, but more specifically black. After having this conversation with my daughter, and I'm not going to get details of that because she'll probably get mad and stop speaking to me for about a year. But I'm really starting to understand more of the difficulties that darker women face. One thing I never noticed, I always talk about how beautiful my daughter is, and she is. Anybody's ever seen my daughter would tell you she is absolutely gorgeous, not just because she's my daughter and favor me, but I didn't realize till she said it that she's the only brown-skinned girl in her family. Like her mother's side, all of her cousins are light-skinned. Even on my side, all of her cousins are light-skinned. Now my nephew, who's light, he has 2 daughters that are close to her complexion. They're more brown than light, but I never realized how much. I mean, I have light-skinned friends that'll tell me they face a lot of problems also. I'm sure, because I remember when I was younger, we teased the light-skinned girls just as much as we did the dark-skinned girls. But now, I mean, she's a model in L.A. That it's almost impossible for her to get any kind of work because of her complexion. And I was trying to tell her something, but I had to stop myself. I was teased a lot growing up for being a little chubby kid with a big afro. But I could lose weight. You can't get lighter.
Yeah. Well, you can, but...
Well, yeah.
But no, I do know what you're saying, because it's like I grew up with the same thing, and it's crazy because the things that I felt insecure about growing up, fuller features, more of the Afrocentric features, things that people are paying for today,
right? And
that's celebrated, and what men find the sexiest on me today. But no, I agree with that. Growing up being a chocolate girl was never easy, and anybody who knows me, the women that I post on my social media are darker complected women, because it's like we're finally being celebrated and accepted. So I can definitely attest to that. And today, back then, I hated my complexion. I hated my features. And today, I love them, so I can understand it. But yeah, it's I always say, what is it about darker skin? But I think it's an intimidation, because darker, it comes off as more powerful. And most people are intimidated by
I think that might be part of it. I think another part of it is that they're not seen as much. Like in movies, TV, commercials, they're just not, they don't show enough dark-skinned women.
Well, because...
I always say that I cannot pronounce her name. The woman in 12 Years a Slave.
She
is one of the prettiest women I've ever seen
she's beautiful.
In my life.
I say Viola Davis. If you listen to some
Ambush
of her...
Wright. I know I'm pronouncing her name wrong.
I know, yeah. It's just,
but it's spelled Ambush Wright.
Yeah, but it's...
Love her.
But
Kimberly Elise. I mean, we can go on and on. And I don't want to sound patronizing by calling out those specific names.
Right.
Because it should be commonplace. But my plea to the brothers is... really pay attention to what you are saying to our sisters. I mean, just because that's not your preference, you don't have to down them because of that. Because you don't like it when they talk about your privates being small, or you being short, or you being broke. We need to stop. Like, it's not a competition between... It shouldn't be. I would say that. It shouldn't be a competition between us. We're supposed to be coming together.
Right.
And building each other up, lifting each other up. So... I'm just asking my brothers to just think about.
And my sisters, too, because it goes both ways. It does go both ways, because it's sad that we down each other.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even if it's one thing the brothers doing it, but our sisters, we need to stop doing it.
I remember when I was coming up, Billy D was the man.
Yeah.
And back then, I had Billy D complexion. But then here come the 90s and, 80s. New Jack City, Wesley Snipes started blowing up. And all of a sudden, I'm light-skinned. And I got mad. Like, don't call me. I'm not light-skinned. I'm caramel.
No, you're like, you're peanut. Yeah, caramel peanut butter. Let's call it caramel peanut butter.
Right, but see,
not light-skinned. I wouldn't say light-skinned.
For me, when I hear light-skinned, I'm thinking El DeBarge.
Yeah. No, you're not like, you're that caramel.
But why should any of us be ashamed of whatever complexion we are? We should be proud of the fact that we make every complexion. We can be whatever shade you want.
Right.
Where other people, they just pink. I don't know. She just called me. Sorry, I'm talking to my producer. But, my guest is coming in. But, anyway, so brothers, please.
Yes.
Think about, I'm not going to speak to the sisters. I'll let a woman do that. I'm talking to my brothers.
Yes.
You need to let these women know they are beautiful in their own way. I'm not saying you got to lie to nobody, but you ain't got to dog them either. I mean, what purpose does that serve? So, anyway, to the next thing.
Yes.
Are you a New Year's resolution person?
Yes and no. Okay. No, I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, because it's almost to me as like someone said, I'm going on a diet. And to me, like when someone says they're going to diet, to me, diet is a temporary thing. New Year's resolutions for most people, I mean, usually it's like temporary.
Yeah.
I'm just somebody who looks to say, okay, what's, setting new goals. Like you say, if you set them every year, then you don't need to wait for the new year. But it is something, when I say the yes, it's something about like on Mondays or the next month. It's something about that new beginning. So I do get the whole New Year's resolution. Maybe I just don't use that term. But it's something about a new week, a new month, or a new year that it's just a fresh start. So if anything, that's how I address the whole new year. It's like it truly is a fresh start. It's a whole new. So I do set goals. I do set. I set things for the new year.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Yeah, I do, but not on New Year's. Like I said before, I've set New Year's resolutions like probably last month.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about where I am and where I want to be in 2018.
Yeah. I don't wait till the new year to do it.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about this back in the summer.
Right.
But like I said, I know how that new year, because it is an energy on January 1st. There is an energy.
I don't know if it's a mental thing or whatever, but you do feel like, okay, this is a new opportunity. And,
it's just like Mondays. It's Mondays. It's the new month.
People hate Monday. I love Monday.
I love Monday. Because you know why? There are certain jobs where all the BS comes in on a Monday because nobody could contact them all weekend. And for me, I've never had a Monday through Friday job. So that's why I say for y'all, Fridays could be my Friday could be a Monday. So that's why Mondays, I've never had a Monday through Friday job. And so that's why I understand that. But,
I couldn't stand when I had jobs where I had Monday off. Well, I like to work on the Monday. It's like gets my week started. I feel productive. I feel.
I like a Monday.
On Monday.
Yeah, I like Mondays, but I just didn't like the job on Mondays especially because it's like offices are closed on Mondays. Things are closed, and then everything hits you on Monday. Yeah. So I think that's the thing about Monday. But no, I love Monday. It's like an energy on a Monday. Right. I'm ready. Like they say, for workouts, you can't miss a Monday workout. That's right. It just starts. I like a new start.
I'm really looking forward to the Let's Be Real show in 2018. I got a lot of things lined up that I think are going to be fun, exciting. Okay. And I can't wait for that.
I'm excited. I have some ideas.
Now, New Year's Eve. I never go out on New Year's Eve.
Let me say this, and I hate to freaking admit this. The last few New Year's Eve, I have slept through New Year's Eve.
I have to.
No, for me, that's not good because people see me as this partying girl, and I'm really not. Right. But to sleep through New Year's Eve, I feel like a loser. I'm not going to lie. I felt like a complete loser. Yeah. But and I wake up enough to say, oh, it's 2017. Back to sleep.
Right. I don't feel like a loser. I just feel like I'm older, and I'm tired.
Well, my thing is, it's not even so much that. I just felt like I don't need to be out. That's the thing. Yeah. I don't care about being out. I just like falling asleep, though. I'm like, that. But no, I don't care about being out because I don't want to be in the streets.
It's like when I don't have anything planned. Like, what's the purpose of staying up? Especially now that Dick Clark is gone. Me and Dick Clark spent a lot of years together on New Year's Eve.
That's like the thing to do. But it's just, I don't know. It is fun. Something about just, I don't know, maybe because I used to be in church on New Year's Eve. Yeah. So
that's something I've never done that I want to do.
Yeah, I've gone to church a few years.
At church. Yeah. I've never done that.
Yeah, so when I say I like to be up, it's just more so a prayer. It's a spiritual thing for me. It's not about drinking and partying. Right. Because like I said, I've never been drunk on New Year's Eve, ever.
So at church on New Year's Eve, you don't kiss at 12 o'clock, right?
Well, I don't. I've never seen it. I don't want to say to somebody else, but no. You do give a hug. You make it
right. No. Okay, I'm being silly.
Nah.
I'll tell you one thing that really turned me off of New Year's Eve as far as going out. Okay, this is a good friend of mine, and I know he's probably not listening to the show. I'm not going to mention his name, but if he is, I apologize in advance for telling this story. Anyway, so I'm invited to a friend of a friend's apartment for a New Year's Eve party. And initially I didn't want to go, but I'm like, I might as well get out. I'm by myself too much on New Year's. Then an ex-girlfriend of mine is coming into town, and she got a friend with her, and she want to hook up. So I invite them to the party. I'm like, oh, this is going to be cool because I know her friend and my friend, they're going to hit it off. Okay. They got a lot in common. So anyway, go to the party, and these two beautiful. They just happen to be dark-skinned women there, and I started talking to one of them. And, I mean, I got her in the kitchen, and, okay, so my friend he's like, bam, come here. And he just walked away. I'm like, dude, do you see where I'm at right now? I'm like, it got to be important because he just said my name and walked away. Okay. So I go to see what he want. Well, my friend that I invited, her and her friend had shown up. I'm like, okay, this is cool. So I introduced them. They hit it off, and me and her, we hitting it off. And next thing you know, the girl is crying, and my friend is like, man, F that B. And I'm like, what happened? We're all having a good time. So my friend's like, I'm leaving because my friend is upset, I'm walking them out. And I'm trying to find out what happened, what's going on. They don't want to tell me. He's leaving. I'm like, all right, you know what? This is New Year's. Bye. I go back upstairs. He's talking to the girl that I was initially talking to in the kitchen. Wow. And a year later, he asked me to be in their wedding.
I was about to say they're getting married.
Man, wow. I don't like New Year's Eve. Okay. I don't go out on New Year's Eve.
So is that the reason you don't go out for New Year's Eve?
No, that was just one time. But I use that as an excuse a lot. Okay. But no, I'm glad they got together and they had a good marriage for a little while.
So yeah, I have to ask then, what are your plans for New Year's Eve? Or do you have
absolutely nothing? I haven't even thought about New Year's. Actually,
I haven't either.
My mind has been on Christmas right now.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. And the only thing I've been thinking about Christmas is where I'm gonna get a plate. Because I'm not cooking this year. Not going anywhere. Well, my cousin did ask me to stop by and get a plate, so I know I'm going to eat. Okay. But other than that, I'm watching the Cavs. Okay. Of course, but that's about it.
Okay. No, I haven't made plans yet either, but I'm going to wait. It's going to be a last-minute thing like always. Because I'm not sleeping through the New Year. I'm not. Right. At least that's what I say now.
The phone lines are open at 440-252-0518. That's 440-252-0518. I know you all are enjoying our little trip down Holiday Lane. Speaking of which, I told you last Thursday, I cannot wait to watch It's a Wonderful Life. That's going to be
Never watched it.
I'm going to watch it this weekend.
You know, I keep saying I am going to watch, I have not, even the Christmas Story. Yeah. Never watched it. So I just want to watch. Right. I think I'm putting that on
it's going to be a live play now.
Really?
Christmas Story, yeah. It's going to be here, I think this weekend it starts.
I probably won't go see that, but I do want to go see Wicked, though.
Okay.
I do want to see that. I love the arts.
Now, we broadcast across the country and around the world. And I want to say to the people on the East Coast and the Midwest, would y'all stop acting like you've never seen snow before?
That's me.
I mean, it's where we are right now is Cleveland. It snows, it gets cold. And people are acting like it's the end of the world.
No.
We're getting soft.
No, I get it, because even though we're supposed to prepare for it, but I never, ever prepare for it, ever. But I do get it. Oh. And if you all could just, our guest is coming in at this time, so we're just getting things together.
I'm here.
How are you?
So, yeah, it happens every year. I notice. As soon as the snow fall, nobody knows how to drive.
Now, that's my biggest issue.
And we all got places we need to go. Just take your time. Don't rush. And you'll be all right. I mean, you probably learned how to drive in the winter if you're from one of those areas I was just speaking about. But our guest has arrived. Can you hear? You good?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Trying to get that.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome December Rose, Cie Dale, to the show.
Welcome.
How are you?
Thank you. A little cold. Just a little bit. So I'm thawing out even as we speak. And, the funny thing is, I was born in December during a blizzard. Mm-hmm. And people say, you're used to that. You like that kind of weather. No. And nah.
I honestly don't think anybody is used to it. It's an adjustment period, especially when in this city, when it's 60 one day and 20 the next.
And I think that's the issue. We go through these drastic. We don't go just from 20 to 30. We go from 70 to 20 to 50 to 20.
You don't know what to wear.
Yeah,
you have no idea what to wear.
And this is only in the recent past couple years. It wasn't always like this. So.
Oh, and while we're on the subject, let me say real quick, people, do this for me, please. I want you to be careful and safe out there. Make sure you take a coat, hat, gloves, battery charger, all that with you, because vehicles do break down. I don't care if you got a 2017. Something can happen. You need to be prepared. So make sure you got a coat and hat and scarf and gloves and phone charger and all that in your vehicle.
And a blanket. And they say water. Yeah.
So, Cie, I'm so happy to have you here. Now, we met. It was wintertime.
Oh, my gosh, right.
This was back in, like, 2005, I think.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, 4 or 5, one of those two. But I'll let you tell us about yourself. What are you doing? Who are you?
I'm a person. That's a lot. I'm a goofball, for one. I believe that so much happens in life that I don't take myself seriously.
Right.
You know, I know how to be, of course, appropriate, serious when it's called for, but just in everyday life and situations, like, no. And I just, kind of find like that, I guess, silver lining in things, and laugh about stuff, find the humor in it, laugh at myself. I try not to laugh at other people. but pretty much that's it. So let's see, if we go back to 2005-ish, when we met, that was through AmeriCorps.
Yep.
We did a term of service at that time, and I really enjoyed it.
I was about to say, don't go too far into that yet. I want to get to that in just a second.
Okay.
But first of all, congratulations on being a drug counselor.
Thank you.
And you're an advocate of what?
Domestic violence. Okay.
And you do something with poetry. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I can, absolutely. I developed a program. It's flexible programming. It's called Problem Solving Through Poetry. With that, I just modify the components based on the group that I'm working with. And so this past year and a half, the Y in Lawrenceville Heights Y actually let me have a platform of my own to do this workshop, and I was working with youth ages 8 to 16. During that time, the focus was to be able to show them how to build, team building skills, how to communicate positively, expressing themselves, problem resolution through poetry, using that as the vehicle, and doing that verbally as well as in written communication. And a lot of things came out in their personal lives, and I was really honored that they shared those things with me.
That sounds cool. That sounds like something I can get into. I just want to say this real quick. We want to get into a few serious areas, but I was threatened by my producer's father that the closer we get to Christmas, I got to keep the show light. So I promise you, we're going to be light at the end. I'm not going to leave you through the holidays with any negative energy. But while I got my good friend here, I got to get into a couple of serious issues. We're getting close to break here. So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about domestic violence, a little bit about the homeless, because as Cie was saying, when we were AmeriCorps members, we worked with the homeless. And that was one of the most, what's the word I'm looking for? I loved it. I loved every minute of it. We did some great work.
Absolutely.
And it still resonates with me to this day. And that was 12 years ago.
Wow.
We were still kids then.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break and listen to a song or two, and we'll be right back on the Let's Be Real show.
All right.
You're listening to Elevations Radio, your station for uplifting lifestyle and wellness talk radio.
Hey y'all, it's Robin Hill, owner of Elevations Radio. It's the holidays and we're about to go on a 2-week break to spend time with our families. We are so excited and we want to leave you with the replays of the best of shows chosen by our hosts to keep you entertained until the new year. So stay tuned and enjoy. And we want to wish you all a safe and very Merry Christmas filled with peace and joy and a wonderful new year flowing with great expectancy. Be blessed, everyone.
I know I be wrong, yeah, I know I be wrong, but I know. My heart, my arm, my soul still longing for you. I thought I was strong, yeah, I thought I was strong, but on my knees I'm praying, I'm looking for you. So tired of faking, like I really don't care, like I ain't really scared, like I got no fears, like I'm not affected, despite all these winds I feel like a dead. Looking up in the middle of a full earthquake right now. As the world shatters, I realize all that matters is you. Surrender my heart to you, I do. Leave me, I will follow mercy. Cause I can't live without you, it's true. And no one else can help me save you. You are my hope and my peace, and you never count on my flaws. You are the truth I believe in, ripping all my fears apart is you. Yeah, cause I can't live without you, it's true. And no one else can help me set you. Lost is this flow in my soul. I'm talking my wilderness emotion. I'm talking the waves of the ocean. Don't like these hoes, but I want them. But your love is worth more than boobies and gold. Give me joy unspeakable. Now I'm looking at you. I'm finally finding my body. These talents you gave me, I'm at it. These women, the sex is a challenge. Love over lust, God, don't trust it. Standing up in the middle with my hands lifted up right now. Cause everything that I'm wanting is you. Surrender my heart to you. Surrender my heart to you. Baby, I will follow you. Cause I can't live without you, it's true. And no one else can help me stop you. You are my hope and my patience. You never count on my flaws. You are the truth I believe in. Ripping my mind through the part is you. Cause I can't live without you, it's true. And no one else can help me stop you. I won't run, I won't run, I won't run away. You got my heart. I'm hanging up the track shoes and I'm so done, I'm so done, I'm so done. All these temporary empty moments of self-gratification. Surrender my heart to you, I do. Leave me, I won't follow you. Cause I can't live without you, it's true. You never count on my flaws. You are the truth I believe in. Ripping all my fears apart is you. Yeah, surrender my heart to you, I do. No one else can help me except you.
Hey fam, welcome back to Let's Be Real Show. Phone lines are open at 440-252-0518. That's 440-252-0518. Our guest today is Cie Dale, advocate, support group facilitator, and CDCA, and poet, and good friend, and great spirit. I love it. I got friends that have great spirits. But anyway, we're about to get in a little dark place for a minute, but with some hope added to it. Yeah. We're going to get into domestic violence. The reason that I wanted to talk about this is because before, on a previous show, we talked about how this time of year, suicide goes up, depression, all those things. And I was raised in a home where domestic violence existed. And a lot of my family and friends are victims, survivors, however you want to call it, of domestic violence. And I know that is an area that Cie knows very well. So.
Yeah, absolutely. All too well. I can relate to Greg as well, being and raised in a domestic violence scenario, But then I also went on to marry into that type of scenario, and more than once. So it's really a very deep-rooted scenario, and it's just now getting some of the, I don't know if I want to say recognition or acknowledgement, maybe that's a better word for it, to what it really is. Things are happening more rapidly, more openly, coming forward. The bad part is that the statistics are going up.
Right.
I believe now it's 1 in 3 that have experienced domestic violence.
1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the things that that pushed me forward to be a facilitator is my past, my history, wanting to be able to help other women in those situations. So I facilitate with a group called Beyond Abuse Project, and our goals and our mission are basically education, support, and advocacy.
Okay.
And if I have a moment to touch on the 7 types of abuse.
Oh, most definitely.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you. I don't think that a number of people are actually aware of this, and through my education and becoming a support group facilitator, I learned some as well. So the 7 major types of abuse are physical, emotional, financial, verbal, sexual, social, and spiritual. And I just want to go back through and give you examples of each one of those. Physical abuse, that would be throwing, pushing, shoving, threatening, hitting, punching, kicking, choking. Emotional, insulting, calling names, yelling, blaming, threatening to hurt and or kill the survivor or children. Financial abuse would be taking or breaking a phone, controlling money, bank accounts, withholding financial support and information, withholding child support, destroying property, taking or disabling a car, taking purse or keys, making you quit or lose your job. Verbal abuse would be yelling, name-calling, threatening to hurt or kill, degrading women in general, constant blaming, criticizing appearance. Sexual abuse, expecting the survivor to have sex after an abusive incident, criticizing the survivor's sexual performance, withholding affection to punish the survivor, accusing the survivor of looking at, talking to, or having sex with another. Social abuse examples would be insulting the survivor publicly, putting down the survivor's capabilities as a spouse, parent, lover, worker, demanding all of the survivor's attention, resenting focus on others, isolating the survivor from friends' activities, spending money without meeting basic financial obligations. And last but certainly not least, spiritual abuse, discounting the survivor's sense of right or wrong, denying the survivor's value, questioning the survivor's sense of reality, and denying, minimizing, or ridiculing the survivor's spiritual beliefs. And unfortunately, I have to say I've experienced several of these different types of abuse in my lifetime.
This goes back to my plea earlier in the show, brothers, how you talk to our sisters. It's a lot that I can't say. I know my show is called Let's Be Real, but I can't be that real on this subject. I just know it bothers me tremendously. I have such an admiration of women that it's a sore spot for me, this subject. But it's necessary. It's necessary to talk about. It's necessary to get educated on it. A lot of what you just mentioned, I'm sure people didn't even look at it as abuse. They get used to it. Growing up in a household I grew up in, my family members got used to it, and some of them may even look at it as love because it's all we saw. We know the difference, which is another sore spot that you don't even realize you've been abused until later on.
And
you may have passed that down to the next generation.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yes.
So we got to do better. I can't. Right now, sexual harassment is the biggest thing in the news. But then listening to some of those, that's domestic violence to me.
Yeah, it's all the same.
When the president is saying a congresswoman, in quotes, would do anything.
Yeah.
And it's accepted. That's cool.
And that's it. I was just talking about that today. It's like we're bringing down everyone else. But, that guy, it's like, why is he still getting away with it?
Yeah.
Why is he still getting away
with it? And
he's quoted.
Yeah.
We hear his voice. We see the recordings.
Yes.
Why is he still getting away with it?
He tweets.
Yeah.
And then if the tweet is too bad, his lawyer say, "Oh no, I did that."
Yeah.
When have you ever did that before?
So
get out of here.
Spasm.
And then, and I like I said, I do congratulate Alabama, but that should have been a landslide.
Oh yeah.
The fact
it
that
should have been.
It was that close.
Right.
That shows you how many people think that type of action, or that's okay.
Or even the women that voted for him.
Yeah.
That's what scares me.
Absolutely.
That's the conversation I just had with my dad today. It's like, it's the women that voted. I mean, where are your mindsets at? So, yeah, that's what's scary to me.
So, what do you do? I mean, how do you help somebody going through that? What do you say?
Well, basically, it would depend on the individual, what's going on in their situation. Of course, confidentiality.
Right.
Basically like what stays in Vegas. Stays there. That's how we operate. Let me pause and say, we are available. We do offer a free 99 support group every Tuesday at South Point. Okay. So if you... South
Point Hospital?
Yes, South Point Hospital. So all you would need to do is at 6:30 on Tuesday is come to that front desk, and they will help you from there to be able to get to us. Again, that's South Point Hospital, Tuesdays, 6:30 p.m. That's where we are.
Is this just for women? Is it just for victims? Or is it for perpetrators or anybody?
This particular scenario is just women. And this would be survivors, whether they're going through it now or if they have previously gone through it.
Okay.
And then there are resources that we partner with. And then if we're not able to provide the support that they need, then we actually refer them to other areas, whether that's counseling or what have you. But let's just say in general, when they come to a group, there's intake, so that way we're able to see what their individual situation is to be able to best see how to help them. This is not counseling. Let me repeat, this is not counseling. This is a support group, which is self-help. If counseling is needed, we have referrals and then other resources to help with that.
Okay. I was just thinking, as you were talking, I'll never forget when I was part of Bridging the Gap, and we went to I think it would be called a transitional house, but the women there were victims of domestic violence.
Right.
And I was told before we went in, like, don't really give a lot of eye contact because some of these women are really, really scared of men, period.
Yeah, I can understand that.
It's not a reflection on you. It's just like what they've been through.
Right, yes.
I've never felt worse in my life. I went in there and I almost wanted to cry because these women really were like, okay, you can't see me on radio. I just...
Yeah, but they couldn't look at your eyes,
they couldn't look at me, and I'm there with so much compassion wanting to help, and I'm like, man, this is... I was angry at whoever put them in that situation.
Right.
I was sad because they were hurting, and I felt useless, even though I know I can still help them.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think I did help a couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it just had to be from a distance. And it was just the saddest thing ever.
So then that's my question then is, what do you do when you see someone going through it, in your opinion, as a woman, I see one of my female friends going through the abuse. What do we do? Because my first reaction is get out. But I know that's easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do? What do you suggest?
That's a good one because it really is easier said than done.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people, from the outside looking in will say, oh, okay, she just stays because she likes that.
Exactly.
Or, she wants to be in that situation because I would just leave.
Or she feels like she can change him.
Exactly. And it's much more complicated than that.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of the situations, that's the only means of support.
Okay.
So the woman is there trying to just maintain.
Mm-hmm.
The other part of that is the mental.
Mm-hmm.
The mental scenario that's happened. She's been beaten down mentally, so her thought process is not the same as the next person's would be. The different avenues are not the same. The perception is not the same. And perception for that person is reality.
Okay.
So it would just really depend on what their situation is, and are you safe? That's basically our key thing. We'll say, are you safe? If the person says yes, then okay, do you want to come to the support group so you can learn different ways to protect yourself? So when you are ready to leave, these are the avenues, these are the steps to take. In the meantime, these are the things you want to do to protect yourself. And since we are live on the radio, of course, I won't say those things.
Yes.
But feel free, to contact us for that.
Okay.
Phone lines are open at 440-252-0518. A lot of great information. Call and join the conversation here on Elevations Radio. I want to transition now to another subject because I get a little too emotional talking about that. But anyway, this one, I probably should be emotional about this too, and I am, but in a different way because I've worked 12 years, actually 14 years with the homeless. And I want to touch on that for a minute. That's how we met.
Yes.
Working with the homeless. Cie worked for a program called Community Voicemail, which I think was a great idea, where each person for free can get their own voicemail. So when they went to fill out job applications or whatever, they didn't have to have a phone, but they had a phone number. And then they come back to the shelter, call and check their voicemails. I thought it was great. I worked for a program called Bridging the Gap, where we helped homeless people find and maintain permanent housing out of the shelter. And we had a great year. We housed over 100 people in 1 year, which is far and away more than any other program had done. Yeah. And so, anyway, the reason I want to talk about the homeless, obviously, 2 bodies were found last night in the homeless tent.
Yeah.
I think some of us may take for granted that we have heat and shelter when it gets down to 20 degrees. Yeah. And there's a lot of people out there that this is one thing you got to understand about the homeless. Like, you can easily say, well, they need to go to the shelter, this and the other. First of all, shelters are packed to the brim.
It's true.
This time of year.
Secondly, there are some people that would rather be out in the cold than be in a shelter because of the madness that happens in shelters.
Yes.
And there's a lot of things that we can do besides just going to the kitchens and feeding, which I still say that's a great thing. But there's other things too. I mean, I ride around with old coats that I don't wear anymore in my van. And if I see a person in need, I'm giving it to them.
Or taking blankets.
Yeah.
We used to drop off blankets downtown. I used to work downtown Cleveland EMS. We used to drop off blankets to the homeless.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And some of the things they need more than anything is like hygiene. I'm saying this all wrong. There's not very many people that donate hygiene products.
Socks, as they say, is the number one thing that's even in socks. Yeah.
Yes. And if I may jump in right there, that was a very good point you mentioned, Greg, about the personal hygiene items. One of our projects for Beyond Abuse, and we definitely are still looking for more donations, is pin bags, personal emergency needs. So we've been putting those together, and it's things like your deodorants, your soap, washcloth, those items. They mean a lot, and they go a long way.
Yeah. I got to pat myself on the back for a minute. It was back when we were a part of AmeriCorps. When we were able to get people housing, it was a great thing to get out of the shelter. But it's hard to go into an empty apartment. And we partnered with a great woman, Terry, I can't think of her last name. But she collected used items people were throwing away, and people walk in their apartments almost all furnished already. Old couches, beds, dishes. It's different walking into an empty apartment where you might feel more comfortable going back to the shelter. Right. And to walk in a place that feels like home the day you walk in there. And that was so cool. And the thing I'm getting off track. The thing I want to pat myself on the back for is a lot of these families had children. A lot of them got their housing around Christmas. They spent everything they had for their deposits or whatever. And so I started, this was 2 years after my daughter had passed, I started a thing called Christmas for Kiera's Kids, where I got donations of toys and, well, just presents. They weren't all toys. Gifts from churches and a lot of people, and was able to give all those families that got housed during that year Christmas presents for the kids.
Wow.
And I still feel good about that. And one other story. Yeah, I'm being selfish today. I got one other story. I'm really proud of the work I do with the homeless, and I miss doing that work a little bit. But C and I had we were doing this thing called Street Voices, where we were educating people and putting a different face on the homeless. Because you say homeless, first thing you think about is the woman pushing a cart full of cans or the wino laying on the. So we were letting people know that there was different types of homeless. There's different reasons why people are homeless. Yes. And we picked up the guy from Whitehaven, which is a shelter, more of a transitional house, to go with us. It was a church in Strongsville. And they have this thing called the Sleep Out or something. The kids there make shelters out of cardboard boxes, and they sleep outside for a night to see how it feels to be homeless. Well, it was snowing quite a bit that day, so they didn't let the kids go outside, and they build their little cardboard houses indoors. And they were very creative. I mean, they were making like condos. And I was like really impressed. But then I had to tell them when it was my turn to speak, I was like, you all have been really creative, but the real homeless people, they can't find refrigerator boxes and stove boxes. And if they get one piece of cardboard to lay on the sidewalk.
That's luxury.
Yeah, exactly.
And it really like drove it home to them like, this is cute and all, but you'll never get to feel what it's like by doing this. I thought it was great that they were trying anyway.
Right.
And they really appreciated it. And at the end, when I told them that I was homeless at the time myself, because I was, and they were just astonished. Like, see, every homeless person don't look like what you have in your mind. You never know.
Yeah. A stereotype, basically.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Oh, you know what? I don't know if I ever shared that. I was homeless as a teenager when I lived in Chicago. Originally, I went there to go to school and then took a leave of absence, but wasn't ready to come back home.
Okay.
So I ended up living in an answering service, living inside of the office. Wow. The answering service, it was a one-room scenario.
Wow.
And
wow.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that you know, there's different definitions of homelessness. If you living with somebody, you homeless.
Yeah.
I can't remember the term for that right now. I'm embarrassed by the stuff I'm forgetting. But, you are considered homeless if you're living with somebody. If your name ain't on the lease, you're homeless. So, anyway, please, people, please think about the homeless during these winter months. Really all year round, but especially now because it is cold. And that hawk is not forgiving.
And if I can say one thing too, because I see this being posted on social media a lot, it's also check on people too.
Yeah.
Because as we go back to getting back to what we start out saying, this is a time of the year that is not joyous for everybody.
That's right.
And I always say, even the folks that you think are strong, check on everybody, because sometimes the strong folks need a calling more than the weak folks. And I use the word in quotations weak, but this is the time of the year, and I say that because I had a dear friend of mine, it'll be 2 years coming up. He committed suicide during this time of the year, so and he was one of the strong ones. So like I said, I'm seeing that being reposted a lot on social media. Check on people this time of the year, because everybody is not joyous, and just because you see a smile on their face does not mean they're smiling within. So I just say, just a reminder, just check on everybody. Check on everybody.
There are so many people that reach out on social media. They're crying out for help. And people scroll past. I get it. You don't know the person. You're like, that's an attention seeker. Maybe not.
Right.
How would you feel if you seen that post and then saw the news later on that they took their life?
Right.
And you just
so it's just a phone call, and that's something I'm even trying to be mindful of. When you think about it, Benita, just send out a quick message or something, because I'm good for thinking about you, and I'll talk to you again next year. So yes,
I think we're probably all guilty of that.
Yeah, we are, because
yeah.
we don't take the. We say we're so busy, but what's important to us, we make time for. So that's all I say. We need to make more time for our friends and family.
Keep it real.
So while we're
on
the subject of homelessness, I want to say real quick, there's a post on the Elevations page about I'm gonna get this wrong. 2017 Feed 500 Family, sponsored by River of Life Ministries, Minister Derek and Mimi Childs. You could donate. You could pay $20, get a T-shirt. You could donate food, hats, clothes. This has been going on for some years, and every year they feed more and more families. I think the first year was like 100, and then 200, and now the goal is 500. So go on the Elevations page. Go to elevationsradio.com, check that out, and help out some folks that way. You ain't got to physically be in the shelter doing nothing.
Right.
There's other ways. So because I was threatened, we about to put some cheer on this show. We're in the last couple of minutes here. And I mentioned that my friend is a poet. That's another thing we had in common. As a matter of fact, she used to have Kamikaze.
I used to go to
part of Kamikaze.
I was on Warrensville.
Yeah.
I love poetry. So
all the great local poets I know got their start through her at Kamikaze.
Yeah.
Wow. So that was actually a forum. It was a business that my current husband owned at that time, and he opened it up for artists. So a lot of people, as Greg said, had their start there, and they've branched off into other avenues. It was at that time the longest running open mic venue, and I really enjoy it, and I do keep in touch with a lot of the artists that were quote unquote born there.
Right, a lot of them have ventured off into the B-side too, on Coventry. That's where I go. The B-side. So it's like when they, Kamikaze, now they're over at the B-side. So I used to go to both of them.
You mentioned Kamikaze to a poet. They know exactly what you're talking about. In this area anyway. And now it's branched out to other areas. My mentor in poetry, Lisa Misunderstood, who's now in Orlando, Florida,
she's
always talks about Kamikaze.
I think I saw, Eris. I saw her. She's
Zion Van Eris,
So you're going to bless us with a poem today?
You know what? For the sake of time, I'm actually going to do something that's kind of a spin-off of an artist that I admire, Erykah Badu.
Okay.
My favorite.
And it's since we want to end on like an up note kind of thing, and I'm goofy, I'm that girl. So at work, when I used to work at the bank, and that was like about a year and a half ago, I worked at the bank, and it was a department where we were constantly processing EOBs. Those are electronic bills. Everybody at some point has gotten a medical bill, doctor's bill, that kind of thing. That's what we were processing. So they drop in electronically through the computers, and people would just get so outdone, myself included. But I just kept a positive attitude. And said, okay, and came up with this little spin to help people keep going because they wanted us to keep going faster, process it, process. So then, and when we had our little huddle, okay, I said, okay, let me just do this to kind of, inspire people and so I could laugh off my day myself. So, if you will just bear with me.
Okay.
I'm going to do that.
I'm going to drop some from the... No, I'm not.
Okay, I'm going to... Yeah, okay. So, keep in mind, please, that I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my stuff. Okay. I'm getting tired of this shift. Batches dropping in offline sometime. See, every time I turn around, I gotta check pans, PIDs, and remark codes. See, I just wanted to be stress-free like it used to be. Trading crudeness for some tact. Matter of fact, I think I better call Tyrone. Calling. Tell him I said, come on, help me work this shift. I think I better call Tyrone. Calling. Tell him I said, come on. Every time I go and make some brand new plans, voluntary overtime kicks in on demand. Oh, now hold on, fellow workers, I ain't no cheap thrill. 'Cause D-Rose is for real, and you know the deal. I think I better call Tyrone. Calling. Tell him I said, come on, help me work this shift. I think you better call Tyrone. Call him. Hold on, listen. But don't use PNC phone. Yeah.
Great. That was great.
I love it.
Now, that's how you end on a happy note. That was funny. I enjoyed every second of it.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you for having me.
I got to have you
guys.
back in the new year.
Thank you.
And we're going to get more in depth about some serious stuff because, it's called Let's Be Real, so I got to be serious sometime.
Yes.
All right.
And this is it for 2017 from the Let's Be Real show, fam. I hope you're enjoying the show. I look forward to you joining us in 2018.
I'm looking forward to 20. I know already.
I was born in 1960. Ooh, now let me shut up.
Yeah. that's
I'm looking forward to it.
It's definitely a blessing to be in that half-century club.
Definitely.
And, I joined that like 4 years ago. So,
Right.
hey, it's all
I'm
good.
looking forward to being 55 next year.
All
I
right.
am.
Double nickels.
50 feel.
Yeah.
So any last words for 2017, Benita?
Wow, last words. All I got to say is, live your life, live your purpose, and do it enthusiastically and live. Don't just exist. Live. We take the next day for granted. We take the next second for granted. We take the next moment for granted. All we have is this moment. So, as anybody know, my hashtag is Carpe Diem. Seize the moment. We have a gift. We have a purpose. Discover it. And once you discover it, unapologetically and unfearfully live it.
Oh, yes. I'm feeling all of that. Oh, my gosh.
Right.
And
I preach that to myself as well. I preach that to myself because that's what 2018 is I'm going to further dive into that.
There you go.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I just want to say today is the first day of the rest of your life. If you didn't do it yesterday was that. That's gone. It's over.
Right.
Tomorrow is not here yet, so don't worry about it. Live in the present.
Yes.
Live on purpose.
Yes.
Love yourself. And remember, there is no one like you in the entire universe.
That's right.
And that's what makes you amazing.
Be you.
Yes.
And, of course, I want to say from the entire Let's Be Real family and Elevations Radio family, happy holidays to you all.
And a safe holidays, yes.
Yes, we have some fun, though.
Yeah.
Have some
Enjoy,
fun.
have
Be
fun,
safe.
Be safe,
Yes.
But have some fun.
Yes.
Stay warm.
And like
love
I
you.
always say,
Yeah.
develop your hunger for knowledge and feed it. Pick up a book and read it. Set a goal and see it through. And always, always believe in you. Love and peace, fam.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.